Yeah, so I kind of stumbled across the space. There are already things that I was sneakily suspecting over the years. Of course, what gets most guys to those types of topics is some kind of trauma, usually in a current relationship or a relationship that ended badly, where they got blindsided, whatever that looks like. The minute details of the stories differ, but usually it's the same core concept that guy goes into a relationship or a situation with a girl, has the rose-colored glasses, thinks everything is gravy like a Disneyland fairy tale. All of a sudden, the rug pull occurs, falls flat on his face, realizes that everything that he has thought about the world of dating is false, or at least in his world. I hear most guys that we work with, when they are going through these types of things, they'll say things like, I did everything right and nothing worked out how I planned. So that is an
Mhm.
indicator to you that, hey, there needs to be a new strategy, a new philosophy, a new underlying core operating system. And a lot of these guys, especially still dealing with sour emotions, they gravitate towards this space. And to make it very clear, I think the content from an academic standpoint, I think it is good stuff. You need it a lot of times to open your eyes to make sure that you don't make these mistakes again. But a lot of times it's the way in which it's presented or packaged. It comes with
Mhm.
that bitterness, that resentment, that, oh, well, it's not my fault. It's every other female on the planet's fault, which, okay, if every relationship you've been in, you get burned badly, then there is a core denominator there, and
Yep.
it is you, or a common denominator there, and that is you. So what I'd recommend, guys, if you're interested in these types of topics, get into the space. Back in the day when I got into it, it was a lot of it was red pill forums. So um, it was really just going in and binging that type of content. I watched a handful of creators. Some of them I got very close with. Some of them, guys, you probably came to me via their channels in the past. And that doesn't mean that I don't like them as creators. That doesn't mean we weren't friends. That doesn't mean that we're still not on good terms today. But it got to a point to where I personally felt like I needed to outgrow that space within the first year or two. And I was actively participating in this space, in the private forums, in the groups, managing private groups, going on prominent public facing podcasts with some of the influencers in these types of RP spaces. So uh, started at the bottom, made it to the top, baby, and then eventually found my way out. And it started slowly. It got to the point where, okay, well, these guys keep talking about how women that do X thing will equal Y results, or to just blanket avoid women of all types. And then I realized once you actually start getting your reps in and start getting good and start doing a lot of the internal healing too, although packaged with the R pill type philosophy, because it is helpful to understand the way in which the world actually works, that you kind of transcend these things, that all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't have girls asking me for money anymore. I don't have girls ghosting anymore. I don't have girls coming in the house and taking giant pulls off of bottles of alcohol and yelling and throwing shit out the window. That does not happen anymore. I saw that we had our rules. I dropped the S bomb right on the 5 minute mark. Let's leave it. It
Nice.
works. But
Damn
but
it.
you get to the point to where this stuff doesn't happen anymore. So when you find these spaces, it comes from a point of, I'd say, emotional trauma to a degree, actual relationship trauma, and it is valid. But it comes to the point of, okay, well, dating wise, everything is terrible. The deck is stacked against me. Okay, that's great. So if you can come to that realization and then come up with a new strategy to essentially turn the tables and make it to where that you are in a position of leverage or advantage, then you essentially become the control or the architect of your own dating life. And that's what Joel and I preach. That's what our entire channel covers. So it's not to outright openly dismiss these types of philosophies. It's really just a warning of, hey, get what you need out of there and then graduate. That's like saying, okay, well, I'm in first grade, I don't know how to read, and then you learn how to read, but you just keep repeating first grade. That doesn't make sense. There's other levels you can get to, and then once you do graduate to those levels, you'll realize, hey, you know what? RP was there when I needed it. I'm glad I found it, but I'm also glad I didn't get stuck in it.